just you.
Hello everybody and welcome to a thrifting vlog. I'm going to do this in multiple parts because I don't go thrifting every day and I also don't find everything at one given location or in one given day. As of right now, I think I've went to the thrift store about 3 separate times. I've recorded a couple different times and I have just collected everything that I thrifted and I want to sit down and actually go over everything. And I know that most likely when my husband goes and gets another haircut, we're going to head out to the local Goodwill that's right next door. And potentially if I go down to Cynthiana, I think they have a Goodwill down there. So there is potential for a couple different Goodwill or other thrift store locations, and if that's the case then I will just hold out and I will make this section, and then when I get those new items, if I happen to buy anything at all, then I will put those in its own clip and inside of this video as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into what I got in these past couple trips. At our first location, we were at a Goodwill and I happened to stumble across these beautiful goose plates, and my husband was getting a haircut and I really wanted him to want them as badly as I did because I wanted to take them home. And then next I happened to see this clock and I really liked it, more for like a decoration clock on a shelf, a bookcase, something like that. Could have maybe bought it, but I just didn't want it really for $5.99 or $4.99, sorry. And then I seen this white, I'm gonna say it was a planter. Honorable mention of this video is this White Claw homemade candle. I don't know why. Next we have these beautiful Budweiser glasses. This is one of those that I was also kind of shopping for my husband. He didn't want these. And then I stumbled again, looking for my husband, across this Blue Moon glass, and it was $2.99, and I didn't really want this one just because it was a single one and it was $3 and I thought it was a little expensive compared to some other glasses I bought. But sitting right next to him were these beautiful Miller High Life glasses as well. We did happen to see this tape measure, this little toy tape measure from, I don't know exactly how old, but I loved this thing. This was so cool. And before heading out the door, I did stumble across these. I thought they were kind of cute, just not my style. Guys, I just went to a St. Vincent and let me just tell you, the things that I bought here, I scored so big in my mind. I have been looking for a quilt for a very long time, and originally I wanted to use my grandmother's quilt because I knew it was a full-size quilt and it was around the color of the sheets that I bought that I think I've had for about a year, if not a little bit longer than a year now, and I've never found a quilt that, one, wasn't $100+, and then two, we think that my grandma's quilt burned up when her house burnt down because we cannot find it anywhere. It might surface one of these days in one of the random boxes that we had and we pulled out. I just went to St. Vincent and I just found it's more like a comforter and quilt at the same. It's not a true quilt. It's the blue that I'm looking for with a little bit of pink, which I kind of feel bad for my husband. However, I think it's gonna look kind of cute. Also, I found a set of curtains. I don't shop at Target. I really don't like Target at all. And I need to head over to Walmart though and get 2 different sets of curtain rods, one for the library and then one for my son's room because his are slowly falling from the wall. And also the libraries needs to be replaced as well because they are not anchored very well in. But I found a set of curtains in here that was Threshold, or from like the Fixer Upper Joanna Gaines line. They're a set of 2 panels and they're kind of like a gray cream. So excited. And then we got a picture frame and multiple, I think like 10 VHS tapes. I am so excited to show you guys when we get home. However, I'm gonna go kill some time in Walmart. Like I said, go pick up those 2 curtain rods because my husband might get off work soon and we can just kill time and meet him and spend a little bit of time together. At this location, we were at a Fairhaven thrift store and I loved these pressed flowers in this little glass, I'm gonna say like an ornament that you can hang up on your wall. I make pressed bookmarks and I thought this was just so pretty. I just didn't pick it up though. And I also stumbled across these and I wasn't sure exactly what they were, if they were just decorative plates or magnets. And then of course I found these beautiful plates. I've been enjoying looking at the plates here recently. Some of them are so beautiful and I thought these 2 in specific were. I feel like this one was so long ago, but I have a couple toys sitting here and then a couple movies, and then finally my favorite pieces of this thrift haul. At a semi-local Goodwill, it's one of the closest to us. It's about an hour away. I feel like we lucked out on decor items, or at least one group of decor items in specific, and because of that, we actually needed a hutch for our kitchen. So if you've already seen my hutch decorate, then you already know what I'm going to be talking about. While my husband was getting a haircut, I ended up finding these plates and I was hoping that when he came over that he would see them and then he wanted them, and in fact he did want them, so we did take them home and then we ended up getting a hutch, and now we have a hutch in our kitchen and it kind of displays these 4 plates. They are all goose plates. These are all from Ontario, I do believe. They are just the Dominion China, that's the actual brand, but they are from Canada and they have stuff on the back and like the actual plate number when it was made in 1986. So this is one of the first ones. Then we have this plate, one of my favorites right here. This one is so beautiful and I just love how the sky looks and I love the little baby babies. And then probably, if not my favorite, my second favorite one. All of these I feel like are so beautiful, and I was really just hoping that my husband wanted them. However, they were quite expensive if we would have got them for what they said, because Goodwill likes to do this lovely thing where you pay for each individual plate instead of a whole set in theory. So actually, this plate on top was the only one that didn't come in its own box. This plate was the cheapest plate at $8. It was $7.99. However, the ones that came in boxes, even though that it just came with the box, they were $11.99 a plate. So technically we would have spent a lot more money than I wanted to, like $50 just on the plates. I think around $60 just for the plates, but the person working the checkout, he actually gave us the entire collection for the price of, I do believe it was $11.99, but as a set instead of technically each plate. So that was kind of a steal there. I was very thankful, very happy about that. So we lucked out. I think what we would have spent on just plates alone, we potentially spent on the entire purchase. Moving on to some toys. The first thing was actually for $2.99, and it's this little tape measure, or actually this big tape, and it's an older style, but it's so cute, and my son loved it, and right now he's been helping us with the house and stuff, and I think it goes out to like 3 feet, but we did pick this up for a couple bucks, and he still to this day uses it. Actually, this was just sitting on the kitchen table because he had to go and measure some things while we were working on weather stripping and some of the seals around our front door and our garage door. So also, side note, because it is bugging me and I don't like when I see them when I'm editing, if you see a bug, more so a fly flying around our house, it is because we had the door open and we were fixing the weather stripping, and now he's in the house and I can't kill him. I can't get him out, and there's 10,000 ladybugs on the outside of this window I'm looking at right now, because 'tis the season of bugs getting in your house, even if you hardly have the doors open. And then for around $3, we also picked this up, and I know I'm sure we could have spent $10, if not maybe $5 at Walmart. As the season ended and it started becoming more fall, we went ahead and picked up this mower for our son. He has been loving using this outside. It is very dirty and I brought it in the house. However, he uses that every time that Josh or I am mowing the front yard. He will go up and down our hill, and if you've seen our yard, you know it is not necessarily a challenge, but it's a pretty decent sized hill. It's great for sled riding. However, for mowing up and down and walking up and down it, or even like we did running around it, it is just a little bit too much. Like over the course of a minute or two, you kind of want to stop and take a break, and he is just up and down and up and down. And then in the backyard, he goes out there and he's making stripes like what we do when we mow. So it's cute. He absolutely loves this, and it's kind of nice because now we have one in our house instead of him wanting always to go over to his cousin's house to use their mower. And then for $2.99 each, we did get a couple movies, a couple DVDs. First off, we had Jason Statham's The Mechanic. My husband and I, we love The Transporter, and a lot of other movies. I think in particular we watched The Beekeeper. We really loved that movie. He has watched a lot more of his movies, and I'm just kind of learning about some of them. Had to pick this one up since it wasn't so bad. Then we also seen both Finding Dory and Finding Nemo for our son. Can't really beat this. It's a classic. One for my husband, which is Napoleon Dynamite. He loves this movie. He hasn't watched it in a few years. However, he does love this movie. It's kind of like a classic. And then this one's for me because I originally loved Nicholas Sparks, and I have probably 20 or so movies from him, and there's a few books that I just absolutely love, and a couple movies that I just have never even watched, and this one in particular is The Longest Ride. I think I have seen this one. However, this was brand new, still in the actual plastic wrapping from Walmart, and it was originally $30 something, and I got it for $2.99, and it was still brand new. I'm gonna call that a win. Moving on to VHS tapes for 99 cents each. We got my son Lilo and Stitch. I've never actually had this movie. However, it's not one of my favorite Disney movies, but I feel like it's a good Disney movie for my son to watch. And then a VHS tape for me, I have Bonanza. At that same location, same Goodwill, but a whole different day. I only picked up about 2 different things, or I guess a collection of movies and then something for my son for his bathroom. For $5.99, in my mind it was a little expensive, but I absolutely think it was worth it. I found this wooden stool with a hand painted and potentially carved, I'm not 100% sure, but I know it is hand painted because it's not the best done, but it's so cute. A little dump truck step stool, and he was just having like a very cheap, maybe from the dollar store, collapsible footstool for him to brush his teeth, or at the time used for the toilet as well. And then I seen this and I thought this was so cute. It's still my aesthetic of like the wood, but it's something for kids. It's still colorful, and I think also it would be really cute to do his bathroom, maybe in like construction theme. I also found 2 more movies. I've been trying to build our movie media, so that means VHS tapes and DVDs, and here what I'm going to talk about what I just recently bought. There's a lot of VHS tapes, so bear with me. The first one is the Lucky One. Both of these were $2.99 as well. This is the first Nicholas Sparks book that I ever read. This is what started my love technically for his books at the time, and I just watched this movie for the first time, and I haven't read the book since I think I was in like freshman year of high school. So it's been a very long time, and I remembered everything about the book because of this movie, and I really enjoyed it, but it's definitely not something I would probably watch again for many years to come. I'm not a very big romance person in general, so I just thought it was very interesting since I kept finding his movies and in relatively brand new condition, or at least like not scratched except for the last one. And I'm kind of excited because I read the books and I love reading books and then going and watching the movie. And then again for $2.99, my husband found Hoodwinked, and this is one of those movies that's kind of like low budget but also unappreciated. There are so many funny things in this movie, and it is for kids, but it's also funny for adults. And then at that same Goodwill for $1.99, I did pick up Colleen Cobble's Strands of Truth. If you've seen my book haul, then you've probably already seen this book and two other books that I'm going to talk about. After that Goodwill, we did hop over to a bargain bin technically, and they had 35 or 30% off if I do remember correctly. And both of these books were originally $5, but I paid I think $3.35 or $3.50 for each book. The first book is Five Broken Blades. I've had this on my TBR or want to read TBR I think since I first started Book Talk and BookTube, which was around 2019 2020 or so, and I am so excited to get into this. I think this is also a trilogy, if not it's a 4 or 5 book series, so it's a little bit more than I thought it was. I thought it was just supposed to be a duology if not a standalone, but honestly I'm so excited to hopefully get into it next year and absolutely love it. And then another book I am absolutely excited about is actually Air. I have no clue how to say her name. I am so sorry. I seen this book and I love the cover, and I've never heard of this book until I found it, and apparently this is a start to a duology. I don't think the second book is out yet, but because of this cover I am so excited. It is so beautiful and I just want to read it right now. But I'm trying to wait till 2026 because I have a few books that I need to actually tackle and finish for my 25 and 25 list, and then December I have a few books I want to finish before the year ends, but also I want to mood read a little bit. So this might be a book that I actually tackle in the first couple months of 2026. I've also heard though that this was potentially like adding on to the Ember and the Ashes series, or at least the world, so maybe I should read that series first and then tackle this one. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind. While we were at that bargain bin, they had the most beautiful, in my opinion, brass but crystal doorknobs or glass doorknobs. When I was growing up in our 50s house, we had glass doorknobs, and I don't know if my parents put them in or if they were just there when my parents moved in before we were born. They were similar. I'm gonna have to post this on here. They were similar to this. They were so pretty, and to hold them, to feel the weight of them. They were a little bit bigger than what I grew up with, but I figured they would be perfect in our house, and I'm kind of tossing up the idea of maybe we should buy them. However, these ones were $50. I mean, they were 30% off or 35% off that day, but they were $50 per knob, and I think they only had about 2 or 3 knobs sitting there, and we have a lot more doors than that. So I have this photo for reference if I want to switch them out for just the interior doors, but should I go back to my childhood doorknobs and actually maybe use my childhood ones? I don't know. I've tossed up that question many times. I feel like I have been running back and forth. This is our last 2 locations before I get into what I just did the other day, and then the rest of me will be from the future if I go again. So now we'll start with, again, we went to another Goodwill. I'm pretty sure we're in the month of October now. Well, we have to be in the month of October because of one thing in specific. So this one I actually went right before my birthday. I think the day before my birthday, so the 2nd of October, and it's actually because I needed some clothes. After having a kid, I grew out a lot of clothes, and I did buy some stuff in Las Vegas, but a lot of the things that I bought there, some of them I don't fit in because I lost a lot of weight since then, which is great. And again, I'm losing weight again, so most of my stuff does not fit, and I gained a lot of weight right before moving home because I was just so stressed, and my body just holds on to all my weight. It doesn't matter if it's like I'm not even eating, my body will just add more weight to me when I'm super stressed. And so I think I gained about 20 to 30 pounds back after it took me multiple years to lose that much, which was very depressing. And now I've lost about, in total, about 30 pounds, and I'm verging on 35 pounds, which is great, but I also don't fit in anything. And for my birthday, I just felt very uncomfortable because I was like, I have nothing to wear, and I wanted to look not necessarily really great, but just cute for my 25th birthday. So the first thing I did find is this shirt. It's like a waffle top. If you're in the military, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Otherwise, it's just like a patterned shirt. It reminds me a lot of the waffle tops though, but it's green, and it is a long crop, which is the exact torso length for me. So when I raise up my arms, it might be like a little short, but it actually hits right at my torso. And this is more of a lounge shirt, or I got it to maybe wear out, but I think it's more of just one that I'm I'm comfortable most while wearing around the house, and it's cute. This shirt, however, was $5.99, and apparently Goodwill took off my military discounts. I don't get military discounts no more, or you have to actually speak up about it, and I don't like speaking up about it. So I paid full price at $5.99 for this. And then I'm sure you guys have seen this sweater in particular because it is my absolute favorite. I love it so much. It is a small, but it fits so big on me. I feel like it's a more of the large size. Ever since gaining kind of my weight, I'm a medium, more so a medium for my comfortability because I don't like skin tight clothes. So for the most part across the board, I wear a medium, so it's a lot looser on me. But this is a small, and I think a new day is Target if I'm not wrong. It is this sweater that I'm sure you guys have seen so many times. It's really big in the sleeves, like oversized, and it's real poofy and kind of long, especially for my torso being so short. It's very big. Like, look at how wide it looks. I love the colors of it. I love how it's like a purple, goes kind of to a white, and then back to like a purple, light purple, and a gray mixed in. This is so soft, so comfy. As much as I love this, this was $7.99. Quite expensive. I feel like that was the price of it brand new. Not gonna lie. This next piece is kind of like a jacket, but I love the texture of it. However, since buying this, I have lost enough weight that I'm almost now uncomfortable in it, and also it is from Shein, so I don't know how expensive it must have been. And normally I don't buy a size large because it's going to be huge on me, but I wanted that sort of oversized look, but now it's just too big. It looks like an extra large to maybe a 2XL on me. This was $5.99, but it gives me like corduroy vibes. It's just like a little button up, like kind of like a jacket, but I like it as like an accent jacket. I just have not worn it except for around the house or in videos. I think I've worn it a couple times, but it's to the point where I've lost a little bit too much, where I think it's a little too big and it makes me look really frumpy, if that makes sense. And I like it most when I'm at home. So it's not a bad lounge one. I just am a little irritated that I bought it when I'm not really gonna wear it. I might wear it out this winter. We'll see if how I really feel, because it might be really good because it's longer on me and it is so big. But I love how soft it is, and normally I don't like Shein clothes because they're so cheap. And also I hate seeing Shein clothes in Goodwills. Like, I don't want to buy normally the really see-through cheap material. But this one, however, it's really thick and it just gives me the corduroy look without being actual corduroy, if that makes sense. Now, Goodwill's dresses over the years have become very, how do I want to say it? I'm gonna say expensive, but also see-through and cheap from time to time. And I get it, it's what people donate. I have this exact dress in a blue, but as a romper, and I found this, I think this is the next size up because I have wore that blue romper multiple times. However, it's a little short. Like, I don't need to be bending over. It is a romper though, but it's just, I have to be very, very careful with this. And for $7.99, I picked up its twin. It's a light tan, see-through, almost like a cheetah print. No, a leopard print. I don't know. Whatever print. Somebody in the comments would probably tell me if I'm wrong, but it's a very simple little dress that goes down. It's very long, and it's almost like the pirate look at the end, if you know what I'm talking about, where it's just multiple layers. And I think this is so cute, but I love it because it ties, and I like how loose it is. And I've wore this, I think, in my book haul video, my birthday book haul video. I had this on, and I think this is so cute. I'm very comfortable in this. I love this. This next dress is more of a 50s style dress. It does have a little tie, kind of at the back, but it's at the back of the neck, but I love it. This is how the pattern looks. It's very simple, very dark blue. However, the skirt right here, they put the nice little weighted hem on it. So when you do a circle, when you spin, it's like almost like a 50s flower girl, or like not so much like a flapper dress, but it makes the perfect bell shape. If you know what I'm talking about, when you spin in a dress and it has the perfect spin, you know what I'm talking about. On the back, like I said, it does kind of have this long necktie, so you tie it in a bow on your neck, and then it has an open slightly back, but most of that gets covered anyways, because I'm not a big person that I like revealing a lot of skin necessarily. Dresses are one of those that I feel like are a hit or miss for me, but I love this. I put this on. My husband really loved this, and I feel like this is the perfect dress for us in the summer. Go out on a little date, a little cruising date to maybe a 50s diner while driving our 1955 Pontiac Chieftain. This is just the perfect dress. That was all from the Goodwill location. Next, my son and I think that same day, technically, we went up to northern Kentucky and we went to a place called Fairhaven. I've only been there once or twice because it's kind of one out of the way, and two, it's not in the best of areas. However, I think it is a Christian based or a Christian owned store, and the one time I was there, I found an amazing book collection and some other things that I really loved. I recorded while we were there a few things that I seen. There wasn't too much. I was really looking more specifically for a bookcase, a small bookcase to put my physical TBR on, and then I rearranged my shelves after that because I couldn't find anything. However, However, while we were there, my son ended up seeing a Thomas bed that he really, really wanted. Mind you, this kid has a whole Corvette bed. He's got the Corvette bed. He's got 2 technically toolbox end tables, and he's got a little toy bin that all came with it. We found in Las Vegas the toy box, and we've had that out in Las Vegas. And when we moved home and we sold our house, we found up in southern Indiana, but more towards like Patriot, 2 buffalo ranchers who had just built a massive barndominium. They were selling the rest of the items, the Corvette bed, and there was a whole history, a whole story with this bed, and it was like perfect, honestly, for our life and for our family. So we did buy that. We brought it home, and now it's in our house. So he wanted a train bed while he has a Corvette bed, and I said, no sir, we are not buying this bed. I'm sorry, other kids need it more than you do. You have your own bed that mommy and daddy worked really hard to find, and to find a good condition of, and to find the price that we found. It was one of those that he wanted it, but he's like, oh well, maybe for our next baby. And I said, I don't know, that's up to God. I don't get to control that. I did let him pick out a couple VHS tapes, because normally if I don't want him picking up toys, because 1, Christmas is coming around, 2, if you're a parent, you understand this, people get kids toys so much and you run out of room so quickly, and I feel like we have run out of room, well, at least for how clean I want his room to be. So I let him pick out VHS tapes because I feel like that's something that he really enjoys, and I don't mind him watching VHS tapes. So we did pick out The Land Before Time, number 6. I know we have the original one. I have 2 on DVD, which I think are actually 2 and 3, and then we have a VHS tape that's homemade that has a 3 and 4. We don't think we have 5, but now we have apparently 6. I have never watched this. I think I've only watched up to 3 or 4, and it was, you know, before the tragic thing that happened with Ducky in real life happened. After that, I stopped watching them because I didn't like how the voices sounded. And also the other thing he really wanted was the 101 Dalmatians, and I was like, of course you can get these. I think these were only 50 cents there. They were so cheap compared to Goodwill. 40 cents cheaper. However, it is still cheaper. And now finally we get to the midway point in October, because I think it was around the 17th. It was before Halloween, but after my birthday. We went to a very local St. Vincent, and once we were there, my mother-in-law actually seen this Scooby-Doo costume, and ironically my son is obsessed with Scooby-Doo, like the 60s all the way up to maybe like the 90s, early 2000s, minus Scrappy and minus the little version of Scooby-Doo. He does not like them at all. However, he really wanted to be Scooby-Doo, and he was Scooby-Doo for Halloween. It was so cute, and he loved this, and it kept him warm. I had to hand wash this, but honestly, hearing so many of the older generation comment on how much they love Scooby or they loved his costume was just so cute. So I was so thankful that she found this, and I think it was only like $5. It wasn't very much. While we were there, I happened to go through some of the purses, because my purse that I thrifted, I think like 4 years ago or so, was falling apart, and I haven't been using my Montana West purses that I bought, my concealed carry purses that you guys probably have seen those videos. There's 2 videos here on my channel. I bought them in Las Vegas when I was getting my concealed carry out there, and I really still like them. I just think I'm more of a crossbody person, so I might eventually go through them again and buy a crossbody one. However, this I did pick up and I seen because it's like brand new, and my purse was falling apart. Actually, I think it was ripping more that day because it didn't last very much longer. Again, it's just another crossbody purse, but honestly, this one was like brand new. It's got one of the flat bottoms, kind of like my Montana West, where I said I've never had a purse that will just lay up, maybe when they're brand new, but I always thrifted mine. And it's got 2 actual pockets here, and then the main size pocket here with like the little tiny secret pocket. It doesn't have any non-zipper pockets. It's just kind of what you see, except for the one that's inside, and I really like this. It's been very comfy. It does have a little bit of wear and tear right here, but that's the only spot I've seen, unless that's from me. It could have been from me, to be honest. I'm so rough with stuff. That could be from me, but I really like this, and I like the quality of this, and I don't see a tag, so I have no clue what brand this is. I couldn't tell you. And then another thing with my son, besides VHS tapes, that I've been sort of trying to do within reason. I don't want to do this every single time we go thrifting, because if we go every single time we go thrifting and he gets something, if it's not like clothes, it's just gonna pile up and add up, and it's gonna become too much. So I did let him get, instead of a toy at this location, I did let him pick up a puzzle. This is a 100% in here puzzle. There is not a piece missing because he's done all 4 of these already. He used to have a little puzzle, and he's done it 6,000 times, and for his birthday we got him a card puzzle, but it's a holographic one, and there is 2 sets of 48 pieces. He loves this one. I don't know what it is about the underwater. And then there's a 72 piece and a 100 piece. I like what they're donating because it's educational. He has a lot of fun, and it's more building skills and stuff like that. And also the final thing from that location that I picked up were actually this dry erase set of ABCs without the markers. I had to go get those myself, but this is A to Z. My son has been trying to kind of learn his ABCs a little bit because he can't actually go to preschool. They wouldn't allow him to go. He was apparently too talkative, too smart is what they told me, which kind of sucks, but at the same time I want to kind of prep him for kindergarten. I don't think I could be a homeschooler. I'm not very patient, and I hate to say that. However, we have made a deal, especially since Halloween that anytime he completes this and he tries hard and he does like the A and then he does the lowercase and then he actually writes out whatever and redoes it, because he has to trace 3 of them and then actually write it out. If he does well and he tries really hard and also learn how to hold the marker, which he's good on that now, but the exact order to trace, not just to trace it, but to know how to form the letters and also what the letters are, he gets a piece of candy. So each one he does, he gets a piece of candy. And right now it's like very daily he'll get up, try and eat some food, and then he's like, I want to go do my ABCs, which I'm like, okay, like if you want to do it some days, I'm like, no, we need to take a break for a little bit. Give me a little bit more time. Something that I'm glad we picked up, I think this was only like $3. The puzzles, by the way, I didn't say that. The puzzles were $4 and I think this one's only $3. So I feel like these were very educational, and when he gets older and he's in school and we don't have any more kids, if we ever don't have any more kids, then I'll just donate them back. All right, we're at the final location. I don't know if this has been very long or very annoying for you. However, I've been running back and forth. Just a couple days ago, I think 2 days to be exact, on Monday, we're running some errands around town, and then we went out to a different town, or the actual city, and we had to go to Home Depot to pick up some stuff to clean out our dryer vent. And once we were there, I was like, why don't we just kind of scoot over to the next town? I think it was like 15 minutes away. I was thinking, let's just go to the St. Vincent up there. Little did I know that I guess Mondays are the days that everybody and their mom goes to St. Vincent, but also it is the good day to go, and that they have so much stuff like in bins and just randomly being put on the floor. There were so many things that I thought were so cute, or just in general, like I would have maybe bought if I had a different day, different house, but it was just some things that I just really didn't need. Like there were some antique chairs that I was like, oh, that's perfect, but I had nowhere to put them, and there was only 2 of them. The first thing that I got was this gold frame, this middle frame. I think it says $1 on it. I never seen that till I put in Boogie's paw print. I needed one because I had a Dollar Tree one, and I switched that Dollar Tree to a different photo, so I still had that frame, but I needed a smaller one that fit her paw print just a little bit better. So this is now in our entertainment center, and it's not really loose. It's actually in there. The glass is tight in there, which I am so thankful for. And now we have this for years to come. The next thing is 2 panels. I think these were $2 each for a panel. This is by Threshold or by Chip and Joanna Gaines or Joanna Gaines. I'm gonna put up a photo when we actually put up the new curtain rod I had to go over and buy, and then also how the curtains look in the library, minus the fact that we need to still paint in there. I'm sorry about this gray paint. One of these days, I have been looking at paint swatches, but it is more of a like gray and white or silver and white with a touch of tan. And I think if we paint in the library a certain color, then I'm thinking it might pull out some of the tan, or if we go with like a green, it might stay with the silver. But the quality of these are so thick, and they're double lined in a way, and I really like that. So these would be great since we're gonna do 2 different curtains. This would be great for the outside, and then have like a either lace on the inside or more see-through, because in the living room here I just have the ivory. I think they're just mainstays. They're just from Walmart, but they're very like see-through and cheap, and I love these in the living room, and that's why the whole living room looks like that. However, in the libraries and more of the bedrooms, I want the thicker ones, because 1, where the sun hits, but 2, I want 2 curtain rods, or like the double technically curtain rods. They're 1 whole curtain rod, but they have 2 places to hang 2 different sets on, and I wanted these ones, or I found these ones, and I want some see-through ones on the inside. And I am so excited to have my husband hang these up. I want him to hang up the curtain rod because he will do so much better than me, even though I know I could technically do it, but I just kind of want to do this as a family. But of course, he works too much. So whenever he can have time, he can put up the curtain rods, and I will put up the curtains. And I think these are going to be so cute in there, and it's going to be such a different change, because right now we just have some floral ones that we've had for a couple of years now, and they're blackout ones. Sorry, there was a little break because my husband called me and he's going on lunch. He's going to go get some food real quick. So real quick, like I was just saying, I think these are going to be perfect for the library. However, moving on to my next thing. For a while now, I think for over a year, I have been looking for a quilt or just something that I really want to keep potentially for a while to match this brand new set of Jersey full-size bed sheets that I picked up probably, like I said, about a year ago. It's been a while. The original quilt that I wanted was actually my grandmother's, and I think I kind of updated when I went thrifting that day, but in 2020 my grandmother's house burnt down when my sister was living in it, and my grandma had already passed away. But that quilt was potentially in one of the closets, and we're not sure if it burned up or if it's just in a random box from some of the stuff that we salvaged before and also after the fire. So it could be anywhere at the farm, it could be anywhere in almost any location, to be honest, but my mom has been trying to look for it and could not find it. it. However, I walked in and this was actually the first thing I seen was this quilt. It's like a comforter and quilt in one, because when I think of a quilt, I think of truly a quilt, the thickness. But this is apparently the Sonoma brand, which I don't know where this is from. I think it's also a Bohemian style. I might be wrong. It has the light blue, and honestly, the bed sheets, they're a little bit brighter and more white, but I think they're gonna look so good underneath because they are the closest that I have ever found. And this is how it looks. I think it's cute. It does have the pink and then it goes to brown. It's like the tiniest bit of pink. And I asked my husband if he was okay if I got this because, like I said, it's kind of like a quilt, and I think it is reversible, or we could reverse it if I really wanted to. And he said he did not care about the pink. He doesn't care really what he sleeps in as long as it's nice and it's warm, etc., etc. And I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. So I now have this quilt set, and I am so excited about this just because I finally found something that fits the sheets that I've been wanting to put on, because we have queen size sheets on a full size bed because we used to have a queen size mattress. But finally, the stuff that we got when we first moved to Vegas, I finally am getting to throw away. And then I'm gonna keep my green set, my green quilt set. But the light tan stuff we have had since the beginning of Vegas, and I really did not want to keep it anymore because it was getting too old, and it was from Target and it was falling apart. It was really cheap compared to the Walmart stuff. So I'm so excited about this. If you can't tell what these are, again, like I said, I try and let my son pick out some VHS tapes instead of toys, especially with Christmas right around the corner. However, these were 50 cents a piece. I didn't realize that St. Vincent, they do a point system now, but also they do military discount. So apparently I was signed up for that, didn't know that. And I got military discount on these. I have no clue what I spent, but these were originally 50 cents, and I have 11 VHS tapes to go through. So bear with me, these are the last things. We have both Aladdin King of Thieves and then just original Aladdin. We have the Return of Jafar, or at least we did when I was growing up, my sister and I. So I did steal that from home, and now we have 3 technically, but these 2 added to the original Homeward Bound, which is actually just called The Incredible Journey. This was before Homeward Bound in the, I think 1993 or so was made, which is Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. And then they had Homeward Bound #2, Lost in San Francisco. This was the original one, or this is what started it. I think this was in the 60s, if not the 70s. My son did not know that they had an original one, so he was really excited about this one. And he's like, look, it's like the 2 dogs and the 1 cat. Yes, it is. Then we got Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast. My sister and I had Beauty and the Beast, a Christmas one growing up, so it's nice to actually have the original Beauty and the Beast. Pocahontas, my sister and I also had a Pocahontas, but it was a off-brand like one. I don't know how to describe to you. It is down there, but I don't feel like getting it. She had black hair and she was shorter and she just looked more cartoony than this, so it's nice to have the original one again. Toy Story, The Lion King. We have The Lion King and a half, or the half Lion King on DVD, so it's nice to have the original. I'm gonna say that I feel like for every single one. Oliver and Company. I used to love this movie when I was a kid, and it would always play on the VHS before Spirit played, like it was on the credits or like the previews, but I never could watch it on demand or like anywhere, and now finally my kid has it, which is kind of nice. It's like completing a childhood aspiration. And then lastly, we do have Bambi and Dumbo. Technically, after the St. Vincent, we did go to Walmart, get a curtain rod, and then I had to kill a little bit more time before my husband met up with us so we could go get dinner together after he was off work. So we did hop over to an antique mall, and in there I did get 3 Nancy Drews. It was number 13, 14, and 15. I switched out, I think, number 14 from one of my newer ones to my original copies that I really have been trying to thrift and find. I did not bring those in here, I'm sorry, but they're Nancy Drews. They're the older kind, and I did want to talk about them. That is everything. My husband is calling me again. I will catch back up to you when we go thrifting another time. In a Goodwill, one of the first things I stumbled across were these Paris Eiffel Tower bookends, and I do like the idea of bookends, but I never find any that I actually like. And then sitting on the shelf were these 2 really pretty glass roses, and I just didn't really have a need for them. I thought they were so pretty. Again, with the plates, I'm sorry, I just find decorative plates so pretty, and I like these ones because they were plains. I did happen to send this little bingo thing to my husband, however he did not want it, and also I wanted to kind of mention this because I had no clue what that was. I did find the cigar box, and I remember always having cigar boxes at my grandmother's filled with sewing items, and then also I don't know if these were just decorative little plates or actual coasters. Again, with the plates, I consider this plate, this Native American looking plate, and then also the second plate. I think this is so pretty. Maybe this is around like Louisiana. I did like the ship, but just not necessarily my style. And And then we have this beautiful cake stand, in my opinion. I love the way the glass looks, and it's also silver on the bottom. This was a first for me. For $5.99, I did find a magazine stand that wasn't necessarily big enough that I could put blankets in, and I did consider it for a moment, but I did leave it there. I passed on it. And then we hopped over to an orphanage flea market in a way, and I did see this Fisher Price. I have no clue what they wanted for this, but I didn't need it necessarily. Also, I found this beautiful photo for $18. This made me so happy. I just found it so peaceful looking. And also for $18, they had this beautiful log cabin collage of photos, and I love this. I love how this looked. I didn't get it. I did pass on it, but I thought this was so cool and gave me more of my grandmother vibes. And lastly, we have another painting that I really enjoyed, but I didn't get. Hello everybody, I want to end out this thrift vlog. I want to go over some of the things that I have recently purchased, and then also because today we just went somewhere I feel like more exciting. It's still in my mind a little bit like thrifting. It's kind of on the flea market type side, and I just want to go over everything that I have gotten in the past, I'm gonna say month or two, update this vlog, finish it out, and then get ready to post it because I feel like this would be a good video to go ahead and clear out of my camera. I have so many clips. I feel like I don't necessarily know where to start, so I guess I'll start here. I did end up picking up one singular book in all of this thrifting stuff. I guess technically not. Multiple months ago when I think I updated you last, I did have a couple books in there, but it is more of like a historical fiction, a Western, and more so a Christian book, and I love this cover. This is giving me, I don't remember what the romance series is, but I think it's by Lila Sage, the Rebel Ranch series or something like that. I love how those books look, but I'm not a romance reader, like a big romance reader, and I'm especially not an open door type, and I think those are kind of more open door. So when I seen this and it was very similar to the vibe, it's not the exact same cover, but I feel like this cover is just so beautiful, and this is a part of a trilogy. Each of these covers are so beautiful. So I got really excited about this, and I've been trying to kind of branch more into the Christian world, but more so like not like the Amish, but the stories like this that have a little bit of Christian value, but they're not just one thing in particular or one, even like a self-help type book, just something that is more of a story. I'm so excited about this. I did pick this up at a St. Vincent, and I think it was only like 50 cents if I remember correctly. It wasn't much. It was less than $1. Next, we're gonna hop into maybe about a month ago or a couple weeks ago at a local Goodwill. I did pick up this jacket or this pullover. I think it's also a men's medium. This is the first and only piece of clothing that I think I've never really tried on before buying. I just seen it was a medium and I really like it, and I bought it, and it is huge. It goes down not to my knees, but halfway in between my thighs. So it's pretty long, and I do have to kind of roll it if I go out in public. It's a Highland, North Carolina type little pullover, and it's just got a couple little zippers down here, just one on each side for pockets. I think this is so cute, and it's kind of like the Sherpa material, but I've washed it twice. Also, I've kind of dried it. I've let it air dry once, and then I dried it once, and it turned out really nice. So it's very soft, and I love this. It has been so comfy, so cozy, and I feel so comfortable in it to go outside, even though it's huge on me. I cannot show two items in this haul. I'll try and find a couple photos because I stupidly went ahead and wrapped these before my son could see them for Christmas. So I'm just gonna say real quick, because he is in the house, I did pick up a puzzle thing. If I can find it, I'll put a photo up here, and then also a kind of like, I think it's from a Family Dollar store. It's almost like Lincoln Logs. You can build a cabin, and it comes with a couple different figurines. And also, I didn't think to say this, but with that book at St. Vincent, the other thing that I did buy for $5, because it was $5.50, I do remember that, is I bought a little gas tank. It's a little Tykes gas tank for my son, and it's one of those that kind of goes outside, pump gas into his cars and his tractor that he has. So those are the three things that we bought him for Christmas, so they're kind of wrapped up and out of sight, out of mind. Also, I can't show this item. I can kind of show a photo of it, which I do have a photo, so I will post that up here. For $7.99, I did find a brand new, I think it was only missing like the little filler up cup, but it still had the funnel and all the attachments, and it was a little gift that I turned around and gave to Josh's aunt, technically, the one who housed us for a couple months when our life kind of flipped upside down, and then we were in the process of finding this house. So it was kind of like a little thank you gift for all of that, even though I feel like we still owe them so much, but we did turn around, wrap that up, and then head to their house that night to drop off our son. So it was nice to give that away. And then also for, I do believe this was $5.99, I picked up a set of albums. I always had at my grandmother's, my mom's mom, she had a collection of just these. They look like these, kind of. I think there was 5 of them. They were very similar to this, multiple different colors, but they had, I think some of them were trips on them, some of them were like just family photos, and I want that for our kids, our family, when we grow up a little bit. I want them to have actual photos of each of us in the family, and then just some of the things around. And I do have another photo album too that I can put with these, and then my kids or our kids can look through them and just kind of grow up looking at actual physical photos. And then sitting here, I just realized that I paid $7.99 for this, even though on the side of this, it's marked as $5 like it was at a yard sale or something. Kind of upset about that. I hate how Goodwill does that. My husband's polisher burned up. I think we had it for like 7 years, and he was looking for one, and he was out getting a haircut with our son. And sitting by the books on a random shelf was this brand spanking new 6-inch palm polisher. However, I don't think it's an orbital one. We haven't exactly turned it on to see. I couldn't find anything on the box that did or did not say that it was an orbital. He is looking for an orbital, but look at this. It's like brand new, brand spanking new. It even has the instructions still. I mean, most people I feel like don't even look at the instructions, but it's still in packaging. It has everything in here, and we went out and got a couple pads from Harbor Freight, but this was perfect for him, and I said I was gonna wrap this up and give this to him for Christmas, even though not really, but I thought that was funny. I thought it was perfect because it had just went out not too long ago, and we were looking for one, but not really looking for one, if that makes sense. Now today, this morning, early in the morning, my husband went hunting, and I could not go back to sleep, and I think it was like 7:30. I was texting with his mom, and she asked me if I wanted to come along. Apparently in northern Kentucky, there is this orphanage that kind of does this flea market that you can come to, buy some items, and all of the proceeds goes towards that orphanage. We did stop by there. I didn't think I was honestly gonna get anything, but I got a few things. I have 3 different books here, and they are not for me. Don't worry, they are for my father, and it is a Christmas present, but he already knows about them, so I'm not really worried about putting them in here. It is 3 different Clive Hustler books, and these I think were $2 each. We do have these 3, and this one, I really like this one because it's an older, I think it's like a first print. I haven't actually dived into these to see what print they are or anything like that because they're not really my books, so I don't really care as much, but I did pick these up for him, and I was really excited about these. For my husband, these are in a way like a gift. I was joking around because I was like, okay, my husband's mom got our son something, I got my dad something. I couldn't find anything for my mom, and I know you're watching this video. I did look through all the fabric, I looked through a bunch of stuff, and I just felt like they didn't have anything for you. I'm so sorry. I tried finding something for her. I also picked something up for my husband. So later on, I made a joke about, I need to pick something up for me, and I happened to find something for me. But for my husband, I did pick up these 2 different, I guess they're Hooters, but they were Miller Lite glasses for 50 cents each, so I paid $1 for these. And I thought these were kind of cute to put in maybe our hutch, and also because I know he likes sometimes drinking from actual glasses, so it's nice to have one. Our other Miller Lite glasses we have are kind of like activating glasses, and I don't think these are because they don't say on the bottom like our other ones, but for 50 cents, I felt like these were pretty decent. All right, I'm gonna have to zoom out the camera. Hopefully I can fit it in frame because this next piece was $18, and when I say it's massive, it is huge. It is this photo. I'm trying to get the glare off of it. I thought this was so pretty. I do not like the frame, and I'm gonna have my dad actually build one from some of the old barn wood that we have over at the farm. That way it's kind of more personalized, and it's made for my dad, and he can make my own picture frame, and it'll go more with the theme. But I thought this was so cute. A little barn, and you even see some horses. I don't know if you can see the horses, but there's some horses on here. This was so pretty. This caught my attention, and I just did not want to leave it there. It's also very heavy, I'm not gonna lie. After that, and after we ate at Bob Evans, my mother-in-law and I did hop over to a Goodwill. I didn't necessarily find too much there, but I did find a few things, so let's go over some of those. I think the color of the day was actually purple. I didn't find anything purple. Both of these were gray for $4.99. 2 different flannels for our son. We have a blue one, and then we have a green one. This one's so cute, and he's running out. He's growing into a bigger size, so these are perfect. They'll last him at least this year, if not maybe next year. We'll see how fast he keeps growing. For $4.99 as well, I found a monster truck shirt, a long sleeve. He needs more long sleeves. You can't go wrong. It's getting into winter. We are in fall. We are on the mist of winter. So I thought this was pretty cute. And then this one was $5.99, and I think I might have maybe overpaid. This is from Shein. So I don't know, but the quality is actually not as bad as some other things that I found in the thrift store from them, and it feels like it's heavier fabric and it's thicker. It's not see-through. Even if you try and stretch it, it is not see-through. It does let some light pass through, but it's not really bad. It is monster truck as well, and it's a little PJ set. It's a top, and then he has a pair of shorts as well. And I think this is so cute. Like, it's sticking with the theme that he loves, and it's PJ, so it's not like if the material starts falling apart, I'm gonna be really upset. Next, for $5.99, I did get potentially this turntable. I don't know if it just needs to be tightened, and it's not really a turntable. It's more of just a like pedestal or like a cake stand. Look at how pretty this is. This is how the glass looks. It does need polishing because it is silver, and it's a little tarnished a little dirty. However, this looks so pretty. So I was thinking, because I put on our kitchen table or our dining room table flowers up there, maybe if I set this on here and then put my flowers on top, this would be really pretty, and I could maybe decorate it a little bit more. Like I said, it's very loose, so I don't know if it's supposed to be a turntable or if when I tighten it, it will just be a stand. I think it's more of a cake stand. Oh, it does have a chip in it. I did not see that. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right up there. But that's okay. I think this is so pretty. I love how this glass looks. It's just stunning. I don't know why. I love how glass looks all the time. I just never pick up glass. And finally, we have one last item in this thrift haul. I feel like this is a pretty big thrift haul since it's been over the course of a lot of months. However, this was for $4.99 and something just kept drawing me back to this photo. It's not necessarily, I feel like, the best. Like if some people seen it in the store, they might just pass it on by. I love the oval shape of it. I've been enjoying trying to find photos for our home to also just kind of decorate. And then if we move into another home, decorate that home. I've been keeping both places in mind. We have this picture of two people fishing. I'm gonna say either a father and a son or a grandfather and a son because it looks like an older gentleman technically and then a younger son. I'm gonna say father and son. You know why? Because if I was a boy, this would have been me and my dad. So something about this kept calling to me. I love how this looks. It's in more of a cheap plastic frame, but I think this would go good by our front door. We don't have much wall space right there, so this would fit actually really perfect. And they used to have a big mirror over there. And for some reason, I just wanted to take it home with me. So I ended up taking it home with me. I'm sure I can find a place for it. I'm not gonna lie. And that is everything that I'm going to mention for this thrift haul. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I am so sorry if this video is just kind of all over the place, crazy in a way. I feel like it's been a lot of months and it's kind of hard to keep with a video that you're not necessarily filming every day, but it's over the span of multiple months. This just kind of shows that if you hit thrift stores every once in a while, one, you'll find pieces that you actually love and everybody's tastes are totally different, but also you don't have to spend so much money. Go to big name brand stores, you can thrift and sometimes find, if you're lucky, I feel like luck is the biggest thing. You can find pieces that you absolutely love for decent prices depending on the area you're in, because I know Las Vegas was very expensive and these ones are getting kind of expensive, not gonna lie, but some of these things I'm just very thankful for, and I'm so excited to make our house more of a home to us. And I can't wait till in the future when we kind of repaint here soon and just work on our house and then end up adding some of these up to the wall and, like I said, just making it a home. This is the best part about thrifting items for your home and also others, because right now I'm kind of thrifting for Christmas presents as well. You don't always have to buy new. It is good to go to the thrift stores. So thank you all again so much for watching. I hope to see you in another video here on my channel, and as always, God bless.